Alright, so the first question I want to ask you is, how do you like to learn best? If that sounds like a bit of a silly question, it's because generations of people have been taught that in order to learn a new language, you need to go through repetitive drills, learning grammar, learning vocabulary, exercising, and step by step go through lessons of increasing difficulty. Well, the reason why I love language learning is that, in my opinion, language learning is exactly not about that. It's not about going through repetitive drills, it's about creativity. And please keep in mind, I'm not saying that discipline and hard work are not important in language learning. They definitely are, as they are in life in general. What I'm saying is that it's not all about discipline and hard work, and there are ways to make language learning more fun and engaging and effective through creativity. So the good news is that really in the last decades there's been a booming of new methodologies and ways to learn languages that were never present before, and through technology we have access to even more opportunities. I'm thinking about methodologies like the direct method, where you learn languages by directly speaking in your target language without even going through your mother tongue first. Things like the silent method, the silent way, where teachers don't even speak to you and they just do it more through mimicking. There's the other proprietary methodologies that have been invented over time as well. The mimic method, which is more about the sounds of words. And then there are concepts like the comprehensible input concept that many platforms out there today are built on, where it's a lot about being exposed to the language early on. I guess what I'm trying to say here is that there are many options available. And if you ask me, for example, personally, when I learn languages, I love the written part, the scripts of languages. I love the structure, the logic, and that's what I dive into firsthand. And so if you ask me, that's my preferred method, generally speaking, to learn. But that doesn't mean that it should be your way too. Because, like everything in life, when people give you suggestions, it even for restaurants and other more trivial things in language learning, what happens and what is true for someone is not necessarily applicable to you. And that's a bit the difficulty here, and that's the meat of the topic that I want to talk to you about in this video. How can you make sure that your language learning can become more personal and you find your own way that is effective and fun? 3 pieces of advice for you. First of all, explore the options available. There are thousands of sites, thousands of possibilities out there. Go on Google, go on YouTube, check out what is out there. Spend some time, dedicate some time in your language learning in exploring these different options available, because they're real options. They're not just theoretical for someone else. They're there for you. Point number 1. Point number 2, do a self-assessment of what you're doing and whether what you're doing is bringing you forward. If you're using a certain app or a certain methodology or having classes with a certain teacher, just do a simple, mark it down on your agenda, on a piece of paper, on an Excel file. Every time that you're spending time in your learning, was this good for me? Did I progress? How do I feel about what I'm doing? This self-assessment will also help you understand if you should be looking for additional material and additional things to do, or if what you're doing is already good enough. 3rd piece of advice, document your learning over time. Your preferences will change, your priorities will change as you progress throughout the language, and your resources and your methods will likely change as well. And you more than need, you want to make sure that you're documenting those so that you can also self-reflect about how you have evolved over time. And more importantly, whenever you're going to talk with a teacher or someone that will help you to learn, you can bring something to them so that they can have a jump start into understanding how you like to learn and how they can help you. So these 3 tips: explore materials out there, do self-assessments on a regular basis, and document what you've been doing and what works and what doesn't. These 3 have really helped me to make my learning more personal, and I hope they will help you too. Thank you.